It's a whole bunch of crisis actors. Like, man, I'm tired of these fools, man. You did? Why y'all don't want to talk about the night before? I mean, who told Devin, man? That's the big question. Whatever. He always cooking. They will not talk about the night before. They keep deflecting, we won't test this, we won't let it go. They will not talk about the night before. They keep deflecting, we won't test this, we won't let it go. I hope that this reaches you now. You know we've been holding it down. I know that they listening now. What goes around comes around. They say Devin ain't deal with devils, but devils proven in the facts. They gotta read about see why they ain't questioning facts. If Devin was locked up, well, how the hell he calling his kids? Rain got a call, they say that 3 was posting his kids. What would you woulda did if she was using the kids? Was he abusive for real? Did jealousy get him killed? And was he tying them first? And MO3 made it worse. He got to wearing a chain. I know his feelings is hurt. Head was shot in his back. 3 wasn't no reason for that. He made a post way back, telling the people the facts. He block was twisting the facts. This ain't the season for that. I know you can't send your spells, but I got legions for that. They will not talk about the night before. They keep deflecting, we won't test this, we won't let it go. They will not talk about the night before. They keep deflecting, we won't test this, we won't let it go. I hope that this reaches you now. You know we've been holding it down. I know that they listening now. What goes around comes around. Say me. To everybody in the MO3 happened on the night before. I know somebody gotta know what happened on the night before. I know somebody gotta know what happened on the night before. I know somebody gotta know what happened on the night before. I know somebody gotta know. Look out, Jackie. Why you capping? Why you lying? You know what happened. You said them niggas was sitting outside. Devin was sending them niggas inside. They're him a line. Show me the text. Send me the number. I called you next. Then you answer like one of the Mexicans. That Camaro was in front of Tyson. Let me get the story straight. Hit credits in the PI. She fell in love but keep on. Ducking, snitched and had to die. They say Devin's coming home at 25. Is that a lie? Was he as jealous as they say? Or was that just an alibi? What happened on the night before? I know somebody gotta know. They gotta know. What happened on the night before? I know somebody gotta know. What happened on the night before? Hey, so what the fuck happened in the MO3 case? Where is it at? I gotta go to work in a second. Somebody tell me what happened. Where's that? District Court number 7? Dallas, let me see. I know somebody gotta know what happened on the night before. I know somebody gotta know. What happened on the night before? I know somebody ought to know. What happened on the night before? Look out, Jackie. Why you capping? Why you lying? You know what happened? You said them niggas was sitting outside. Devin was sending them niggas inside. There in my line. Show me the text. Send me the number, I called you next. Then you answer like one of them Mexicans. That Camaro was in front of Jocelyn. Let me get the story straight. The apprentice and the PIC fell in love with Keep One. Ducky snitched and had to die. They say Devin's coming home in 25. Is that a lie? They live right now, got 160 people in that business on YouTube showing the trial, my nigga. They showing the trial on YouTube, baby. Crazy work, huh? Came to Magnolia New Year's Eve, and you get stuck, and you find out leaving. You baby, get back on 5 minutes. They waiting on that shit to happen. Oh, I'm tired to bed, boy. Oof. I'm gonna be able to catch some of this shit. Because they should be back on it and deliberating, huh? Let me see, court stream. Let me see if this motherfucker's going. Hell, man. What happened on the night before? I knew somebody in the news. She lied, man. Live at 5, baby. Waiting on that shit to pop up. It's 100 and some odd people in there watching that. I was waiting. On my thug niggas ride to eternity. Let's ride, nigga. Let's ride, nigga.
Should I create a new email for this though? Because this is my regular one. I'm feeling like I need to do a business one instead. Alright, so he said
on I wasn't really sure what it was, but I thought it'd be an accident. You know, everybody assumes when the traffic slows down, it's probably an accident or, you know, something in the road that people haven't moved over before. Rubber, truck tires or whatever.
Once that traffic started slowing down, did something happen there?
I was in the 7-Eleven and traffic kind of started to slow down more like a abrupt stop. And so as the traffic was slowing down, I could hear a lot of racket. And I didn't know what that was, but as I was looking around, I saw two men on the road right in front of me, and one of them had a very large gun, and another man was running in front of him and chasing him. And so I was just like kind of in shock. So scary. It was about lunchtime, about noon, and so that's what I was observing as I was driving.
You said you heard a racket. Can you describe what that racket sounded like?
I hear like banging, like there's a lot of banging noise, and so then when I saw what was going on, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a man with a gun, and so I realized what that was.
You said there was a man that was chasing the guy in front of you. Is that right?
Yes.
When that started happening, what was going to happen?
I was like, I was in shock, first of all, you know, it was like realizing this is really happening. I'm in traffic and there's an ambush on the freeway, is the way I would describe it. And so, yeah, it started.
When you see these men riding towards you, were they on your side, the driver's side, or were they kind of moving down on the passenger side?
You know, they were on the driver's side, on my side.
How close?
As these two men were running, the bullets and the gun shooting became louder and louder. And so I had, you know, things that are going through my mind. Do I sit up and watch the whole thing? Do I put my phone on video or try to turn on one right away? And then my first thought was, I need to hide and pray. So,
What did you do?
well, I observed, you know, the two men, and I kind of made a mental note of what I saw. And, you know, the third thing that I did was I put my car in park, and I got down in the bottom of the floorboard, and I prayed. Because the gunshots became so loud, and I could feel like when the bullets were coming around me, you know. So there was a car in front of me, and probably there was like a truck in front of that car. And so right around where the truck was, kind of at the back of the truck, is about when I like decided to duck, you know, because I was like, I didn't want to get hit, and so I was afraid. I didn't think it was wise for me to stay seated anymore upward, you know, like I was like, these bullets could possibly come through my window and hit me. So
Before you ducked and you saw those bullets flying, was that just coming from one gun, or were there the guy that was running? Did he also have a firearm?
the man that was being chased did not have a firearm. I could see it looked like he was carrying a black phone in his hand. So he didn't have any gun that I saw. It looked like a square object.
At any point, the man that was being chased, did he ever turn around towards or extend an arm towards the person that was chasing him? you saw it?
I didn't see an arm shake being turned around. I didn't. All I saw was, the gunman, and then, you know, a gentleman in a purple jumpsuit, you know, in front of him. So I was like, I made a note of, you know, what I saw, like, you know, what they were wearing and kind of what they looked like. So that's what I made a note of. But I didn't see any person in the front with any type of gun whatsoever. I looked like he was carrying a cell phone.
Oh, so once you ducked, what happened next?
I could still hear a few more bullets, but then it was like, I don't know, time just seemed to like stop for just a minute, but I kind of popped back up when I didn't hear any more sound. And so I wanted to look around. I was thinking, well, if somebody was being shot, you know, somebody's probably either, you know, right about, you know, where my car was, you know, is where, you know, the man fell, the man in the purple jumpsuit. And then I wanted to look up to see where the gunman was. You know, I didn't know if he was going to be pulling the trigger on me or, you know, somebody else, you know, because we were witnesses. So I was looking around, you know, on freeways. I didn't know if he came from a vehicle or, you know, I don't know where he came from or where he ran to. So, I mean, he was already gone.
And roughly how many shots or how many bullets could you hear coming from that gun?
I don't know. I actually heard that they recovered about 44 shots. I don't know, but I
That's what
heard,
Shotgun said.
I don't know.
Ma'am,
I don't,
excuse me.
yes.
When the parties say objection, you need to.
Oh, okay,
say it,
okay.
And then I'll give my ruling. and
Okay.
then you can continue
Sorry about
with
that.
That's okay.
Okay.
All right.
Ask the jury to disregard
Disregard what?
her statement that she was objected to hear said she was still talking.
Okay, the jury will disregard what the witness said about what she heard.
Ms. Kapler, if you can only just answer off of your own personal knowledge and what you
Okay.
remember.
Okay, so you asked me about how many bullets I heard or what?
How many shots
Shots?
did you hear? Was it one? Was it a couple? Was it many?
I heard many. I didn't count the number of shots. This particular, I think, gun was, I don't know what guns are, but the guns,
Ma'am,
yes.
as I said, when the attorney stands up to make an objection, you need to talk.
Okay,
Okay?
okay, sorry.
Objection, non-responsive.
Sustain.
So you said that there were many though, right?
There were many shots, yes. That's,
What happened when you popped up again once the shots stopped coming?
the man in the purple jumpsuit was moving. He was moving from side to side. He was behind a car wheel, like in the back, like he had fallen over. And so he was moving. And then the man in front of me in the car got out and he was like in blue scrubs. So he must have put his car in park or whatever.
Objection to dare to be on.
Sustain.
You said there was a man that was, he was parked in the car in front of you. He was
Yes.
wearing blue scarf, is that right?
Yes,
What happened when he got out of the car?
he went over to the man on the road and began performing life resuscitation. He was, you know, pumping his chest and doing what he could. He was in blue scrubs.
Did you get out of your car at any point?
I did eventually. I got out because I wanted to make a mental note of what I saw.
Did you call 911?
I tried and I couldn't get through. I tried, before I got out of my car, I tried to call 911 and I couldn't get through.
And did you have your phone with you that day?
I did.
Did you do anything with your phone that day?
I took a few quick shots of my surroundings, of what I saw in front of me, not to post them on social media, but to make a mental note. I saw shell cases around my car. I also was looking to see if my car got hit. I didn't feel that my car got hit, but I didn't know because it was really loud. So I was just observing what I saw.
Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Ms. Hacker, we met before, is that right?
Yes.
And these images that you see, you're looking at State's Exhibit 47 as well as State's Exhibit 48, is that correct?
Yes.
And you recognize these photos?
Yes.
I'm also handing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 49, which is a disc. Do you remember that there were some photos on this disc that you took?
Yes.
And when you took a photo, what kind of phone do you have?
I have an iPhone.
Sometimes when you take a photo, does it have the captions live photos, is that
Yes.
right? And what's a live photo?
A live photo on an iPhone, when it's taken, you could see like repetitive images, almost like a short video.
Those
So,
images,
yeah, so, yeah, when I use it right now, it's like sometimes if somebody has their eyes closed, you might could go back a little second or go forward and have a picture with their eyes open. So a lot of times it's set on my phone.
and the disc, it looks like it's videos, but it's not a video. In fact, it's just a live photo. It shows
Right.
movement, is that correct? Okay. Your Honor, at this time, State offers State's Exhibit 47, 48, and 49 that have been previously submitted to defense for all purposes.
Will you describe 47 and 48 again for the record?
Yes, Your Honor, 47 and 48 are photos
At the scene? Or from 49?
of the scene, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, we're gonna object to, State's Exhibit 47, 48 for best evidence rule and prejudicial, more prejudicial than probative.
Let's see. 47. Okay, what's the state's response?
Your Honor, this shows exactly what what the witness saw that day. I believe it's relevant to know about the murder and how the victim looked right after being shot.
The objections of the rule, state's exhibits 47 and 48 are admitted.
Would you like
Any
to-
objections to 49?
No objection, Your Honor.
State's exhibit 49 is admitted.
Commissioner Polish?
Yes, you may.
Okay, Ms. Catherine, there's a screen to your left, and just in case if you can't see. State's Exhibit 49, these are the live photos that you took from your phone, is that correct?
That's correct.
Looking at State's Exhibit 49, this is the live photo that you took, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you described, when you looked up, that the victim was on the freeway but still moving, is that right?
Yes, he was moving his head.
On this image, you said that there was a man with blue scrubs that got out of his car that was directly in front of you, is that right?
That's correct.
And is this that man that was trying to perform life-saving measures for?
Yes, that was the man that I saw. And the first photo that was his photo.
You said the first photo, ma'am?
Yeah, well, the other photo where the car was next to the man on the road, that was his car in front of me.
This photo, or this live photo, this shows when Dallas Fire and Rescue and police officers have started arriving to the scene, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, I chose to get seated back in my car.
This image, this will just show what you saw and what you observed that afternoon, is that right?
That's correct.
State's Exhibit 47. Fire and rescue and police officers have started arriving to the scene, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, I chose to get seated back in my car.
This image just will just show what you saw and what you observed that afternoon, is that right?
That's correct.
State's Exhibit 47 is just that screenshot from that first live video that we saw.
Yes, that's correct.
State's Exhibit 48, again, is a screenshot from that live photo.
Yes, it is.
Did you, at the time that this happened, did you know who the man in the purple jumpsuit was?
I didn't know who he was. I didn't know the person that was chasing him either.
Thank you, Ms. Kapler. I'll pass it on to Sharon.
Mrs. Kepler, a couple of quick questions. When you were on the freeway, do you recall where did you enter the freeway to get on 35 heading north?
I can't remember. The last dealership that I visited was Mac Hyatt in DeSoto. So I'm trying to remember what that entrance was. It was maybe close to Wheatland or something. I can't remember.
And approximately, are you familiar with 35 north?
Yes, I am. And that was close to the zoo where that incident occurred.
Okay. And you were close to the zoo, and is that when you first saw, by the time you saw, were the two men out of the car or were they inside the cars?
I saw two men out of the car.
Okay, so you don't know what cars, or you would be speculating to know what cars each man got out of?
I did not know that day, no.
And were you, I suppose when you're taking these pictures, as we look at State's Exhibit 48, your car is behind these pictures, is that correct? Your car's no longer, it's not put in these pictures. Can you see your car in these pictures?
Not that picture.
Okay.
No, there was I think another picture, you could see the front of my car.
Okay. And you said when you saw, when this happened, you were behind the Kroger truck, is that fair?
If there was in the picture, it looks like there was the man from the scrubs had his car. There was the guy in the green shirt with the truck, like the F-150. And I think there was another, a big semi in front of it. If that was the Kroger truck you're referring to, I guess so.
Okay.
I don't know what truck that was.
Okay.
I don't remember that day.
Okay, all right. When the two individuals were coming towards you, you said you were going through what your three options were. Should I stop and look? Should I call 911 or should I get down on the floorboard? And you decided to get down on the floorboard. Is that correct?
I hid because the bullets were, the noise was getting louder.
Okay. And do you recall saying that it was about 4 or 5 gunshots that you heard that day?
There was a lot more than 4 or 5.
Do you recall telling the police that you heard about 4 or 5 gunshots?
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to life. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction. From tools built for one to platforms
coming down on the freeway. I saw a little bit before I decided to get in my floorboard.
And is it fair to say the man that had the rifle or the gun had on a mask?
I don't know if it was a mask. To me, when I was seeing it, it looked like a dark hoodie with the hood up, and like the hoodie was zipped up. I didn't know if it was a mask. My recollection when I'm talking about this, to me, it looked like a hoodie.
And you never identified anybody in this case, have you, as the person with the firearm, right?
I haven't identified anybody. No, this is my first time to talk about this, other than the detective who asked me about it.
And you don't know the reason why the shooting occurred.
I do not.
And do you recall talking to the police and you described that the person was wearing a long sleeve cream top? Do you recall that?
I said I saw a man with it was a gray and black top.
Young man, first witness?
You may. And if there are any exhibits that have already been tendered, they need to be over here in the court reporter's desk.
Do you recall talking to the police officer when you were out on the scene?
There was some questions out on the scene.
Okay, did you ever go to the detective's office and talk to anyone?
No, the detectives came to me.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you just to refresh your memory. You can't read from there, but looking at this sheet of paper, does it refresh your memory?
Your Honor, I don't object to improper impeachment. I'm not sure what the witness is looking at to refresh her memory.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you recall giving a statement to the police of what the shooter was wearing?
I said the shooter, I could remember a couple of things. I could remember seeing the shooter had pants on where I could see his underwear. I could see some gray, like from the bottom. And I said, I have a recollection of a darker top. So.
Would it surprise you that you told the officer that the shooter had on a long sleeve cream top?
That would surprise me.
And you didn't give a written statement in this case, did you?
I did not give a written statement.
And you don't know if your statement to the police was recorded?
I didn't see any recording device. I didn't agree to any recording device on the side of the road.
And did you know the gentleman that was, that the doctor was performing life resuscitation?
I didn't even know he was a doctor until we were waiting to give our statements.
Did you know the gentleman that had been shot?
I did not know the gentleman who had been shot.
And did you meet with the prosecutor on this case? Prior to testimony, did you meet with the prosecutor on this case?
Are you talking about the DA and investigators? Yes, I had a meeting with the investigators.
How many times have you met with them?
I met one time with the investigator, and then I had another meeting about a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago.
And did they give you anything to read to refresh your memory?
I didn't have anything to read.
y'all, when you dealt with prosecutors, did they ever ask you about any discrepancies in your testimony as to what you may have told the police, as to what your may have told them when you were talking to them?
I was not pointed out any discrepancy. I said the man had a light face. That's all I said.
Not responsive here.
Oh.
Did you know where the gentleman that was holding the gun and the person that was shot, did you know where they were coming from? Did you see them get on the freeway at all?
I didn't see him get on the freeway.
Okay.
No, the people were coming from north. They were running southbound because I was going northbound on 35.
And do you know anything about their relationship at that time on November 11th, 2020?
I have no recollection of any. I don't know anything about those two men.
You're not past witness.
State,
Nothing but for the state honor.
make this one be released.
Who would like to subject her to recall her?
All right. Ma'am, you are free to step down right now, but stay in touch with the state and the defense in case either party needs to recall. you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marissa.
State, call your next witness.
Say we call DFR Gallardo.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Thank you.
Morning.
I guess just now afternoon.
Yes, sir.
I know you're in your class A's, but could you please introduce yourself to this jury and spell your first and last name for the court report?
My name's Ricardo Gallardo, Ricardo. Last name Gallardo, Gallardo, and I am a fire rescue officer, paramedic for Dallas Fire Rescue.
Gallardo, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. If I butchered, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
All right, so you're with DFR, or Dallas Fire and Rescue,
Yes, sir.
DFR for short.
Correct.
You nervous?
A little bit.
You ever testified before?
Never. First time.
All right. Well, I just want to kind of go just briefly through your training and experience with DFR. How long have you been employed with DFR?
15 years now.
And as far as training to become, what is your official role with DFR? I guess let's start there.
I'm a fire rescue officer, and I also perform paramedic duties or advanced life safety.
And is that part of the training to have both of those qualifications?
Yes, sir.
Can you just walk the jury through some of your training and experience to become a fire rescue officer as well as the paramedic status?
Fire rescue, just pretty much a fire academy, fire training, teaches you, what you do on the fire engine, fire truck. As far as the paramedic training and doing more medical calls, life threatening calls, and some that are not so life threatening, you go through a few months or several months of paramedic school, clinicals, and various tests to get certifications to become a paramedic.
And do y'all take continued training throughout your 15 years? Have you continued to take training to keep yourself up to date?
Yes, we do quarterly training and probably a little bit more than that throughout the year to keep up with our skills.
And on November 11, 2020, do you remember that day?
I do remember most of the day, but if you were to tell me that was a day, I wouldn't have known that was the exact dates, I guess.
Do you remember or do you recall an incident responding to an individual who'd been shot on the freeway I-35?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Now I'm going to show you what's previously been published as State's Exhibit 48. Showing it's been marked as State's Exhibit number 52, which is just notice of intent to use business records. For the business records that I'm about to show you, State's Exhibit 53. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 53?
Yes, that is EPCR, which is a report of all the interventions or incident that happened that we have to fill out regarding patients, every patient that we run across.
And are these made every time you have to respond to an incident?
Yes, they are.
And are these made at or near the time of the actual incident that you've responded to?
Yes.
And does this incident, or is the incident that you responded to out on the...
Join Google Fi Wireless and get Pixel 10a on us. Plus, save $10 a month on your service. With an incredible camera, helpful AI, and a design that's built to last. It's more than you'd expect for less. Get the real deal with Google Pixel 10a.
No objection to 53 and 52.
52 for record purposes, 53 for all.
Thank you. Exhibit 53 is admitted for all purposes. Exhibit 52 is admitted for record purposes.
Now, DFR Gallardo, you can't read directly from this, but I'm going to ask you some questions. So if you need to refresh your memory, you can take a second to look at it and refresh your memory. But specifically on this, in stage 48, is this the incident that you responded to on the freeway in November of 2020?
Yes, sir.
Where were you coming from that morning when, or I guess midday, about this time actually, where were you responding from to get to this location?
I don't remember if we actually got our call from the station, which is on the north side of where the incident happened, but we were traveling south on 35 to come back and go northbound 35, where the incident was assigned at.
And how would you describe y'all's ability? Well, let's go through this first, I guess. In a situation where DFR are responding to where somebody has been shot, who or how many, who and how many people get dispatched to a location like that?
You get an engine and an ambulance, which would be on an engine is a 4-man crew, and an ambulance would be a 2-man crew. You get that just so you can have more hands and a little bit more help, because it is a serious call.
And that's general protocol on DFR for shooting that an engine would respond, a 4-man crew on that engine, 2-man crew on the ambulance.
Correct.
And are all of those individuals, both on the engine as well as the ambulance, are they all trained as paramedics as well?
You would have at least two of the 4 would be paramedics as well.
Okay. So 2 paramedics on the ambulance, 2 paramedics on the engine.
Correct.
Now, when you responded out there, was it easy to get to the location where the victim was at?
No, as we were going southbound on 35, we noticed the traffic was bottleneck and it was standstill traffic. So when we turned around, we knew we had to go up an exit, and I was on the ambulance that day. We turned around and went against traffic to come back towards where the incident was.
So you went northbound and then southbound lane. Or did you go?
No,
southbound?
we went southbound in the northbound 35 lanes.
And at that time, I believe there was construction. Is that fair?
Honestly, I don't remember the construction just because there was so much traffic and it was already standstill. But from my time being in that area, there was plenty of construction going on throughout those years.
Sure. And once you arrived, what did you observe initially when you arrived on the scene? Was here in States Exhibit 48, it appears to be somebody wearing scrubs, trying to do life-saving measures. What did you observe as far as the victim and what was going on with the victim when you arrived on the scene?
When the rescue arrived on scene, the fire engine had already been on scene before us. So they're the ones that radioed us in and said it was safe for us to come against traffic to get there. So when we got there, we had some of our members already performing CPR or trying to put pads for a monitor on the victim. I did not see this picture or this gentleman in scrubs performing any kind of life-saving activity on this gentleman. There was a previous ambulance there that I believe was a private agency, and they had their stuff on the ground or on the street trying to help. But as soon as we got there, DFR took control of the situation. We took out our own equipment and started loading the gentleman onto a stretcher and into the ambulance.
Sure. And these, I think we've all probably seen them on the roadway, some of these private ambulances. They are separate and apart from Dallas Fire and Rescue.
Correct.
And so when you arrive on scene like that, is it your preference to use your instrumentation, your stuff, as opposed to somebody else's?
Absolutely.
And why would that be?
Just protocol, and obviously we'd be more familiar with our tools and theirs.
Sure. And as far as what condition, once you arrived, I realized there was other paramedics from the engines that were already trying to save Mr. Noble. But what did you observe as far as the state and condition of Mr. Noble at that point?
Obviously, you could tell he was pulseless and not breathing. Plenty of blood on the ground, and I mean, at that time, people's gloves and loading him on the stretcher, it's all over our equipment as well. So that's what I remember from the initial contact.
And you were in the ambulance that day.
Yes, sir.
Were you in the ambulance that transported Mr. Noble from the scene?
Yes, sir, I was.
Now you said that he wasn't breathing and that lack of pulse, correct?
Correct.
What, in that situation, when somebody is exhibiting those symptoms, what does your protocol tell you to do as far as trying to perform any type of life-saving measure?
So we would obviously try to tend to the significant severe wounds. In this case, we would try to stop the bleeding, try to stop all the trauma that he had, and then start to perform chest compressions and go through our chest or our CPR protocol.
And at some point, did somebody perform a chest needle decompression?
Not that I recall, but I believe in situations like this, gunshot wound, it wouldn't be, you would be able to do that in this situation. But I don't recall it happening in front of me.
Do you want to check it and see if it is in those records, business records,
Yes,
whether or not it was done? And if it refreshes your memory, let us know.
It is on there, it's marked on there, performed by another paramedic.
And what would the purpose be of a chest needle decompression?
So usually when you get trauma like this to your body, you get some air in the chest cavity that compresses against your heart and prohibits it from working the way it does, or it's supposed to. So the needle decompression would pretty much pop that air pocket and relieve the pressure from the heart.
And what would it do in terms of internal bleeding?
It would relieve, like I said, mainly it's for relieving the pressure and help with breathing because it would be more of a collapsed lung issue.
So if you had internal bleeding pressing down on your lungs, would that be a situation that could help?
Correct.
Once you were able to, do you recall approximately what time you were able to arrive to actually get to the scene?
No, I don't. I know it was right before lunchtime, pretty much at the station.
And once he was placed, or once you're there, is he then placed on a stretcher? How does that take place? Where do you go from here?
When we got there, we came down with our equipment. Our members were already, performing chest compressions and all that. So we bring a backboard to be able to load them onto the stretcher easier, put them on a stretcher and take them to the back of our ambulance where we have most of our equipment, or it's easier for us to work as a team. And in situations like this, where it's out and open in the public, we don't want to really perform life-saving in front of everybody or the public, too many people on the road.
Probably not a safe place either.
Correct, especially with all the traffic. Correct.
Also, more tools inside the ambulance.
Correct.
Now, once you get them inside the ambulance, what measures did y'all take outside of just CPR, chest compressions?
We try to get IV established on these members so we can replenish the fluids that they've lost, in this case, blood. So we try to keep them alive with that, and also try to breathe for them since they're not able to breathe on their own.
And what about sodium bicarb?
Sodium bicarb, yes, sir.
What do y'all do with that?
We give it to them just to reverse certain symptoms that they might have.
And explain that if you can to the jury.
Pretty much in this case, if he's losing too much oxygen and he has bad oxygen in his body, in layman's term, we would give him that to reverse his O2 sats pretty much.
Because at this point, again, no pulse, no breathing.
Correct.
Once you have him in the back, he's on the backboard, on the stretcher, into the back of the ambulance. Y'all start doing this, and then where do you go from there?
At this point, the hospital is really close to us, so we are taking them to Methodist Hospital.
And do you continue to, again, attempt to, well, I guess, regain any signs of life at that point?
Yes, we are doing continuous CPR, chest compressions, and trying to introduce various medication into his system from there to the hospital.
During the
Keep your business safe with Gemini and Google Workspace. Our AI helps prevent threats and keeps your data confidential and compliant. Run your business confidently with Google Workspace.
shot.
Yes.
And did y'all do that in this case?
Yes. I don't remember the exact number of bullet holes he had.
Sure.
But we did know that there was at least more than 2 or 3.
And how did you know that?
Just visualizing him and all the blood that was being lost.
How would you describe his clothing at that moment?
He was wearing he was drenched in blood, and he was wearing a jumpsuit, tracksuit, I believe. But when we had him in the back of the ambulance, you pretty much take trauma shears and try to expose his body to identify all the wounds.
You said it was drenched.
Yes.
When you have, I mean, you don't sit there and try to identify every single gunshot wound. Is that fair?
I mean, for the most part, we're supposed to, and we're supposed to try and at least acknowledge the most obvious ones,
Sure. And what's the purpose of identifying those at that point?
just to try to get the most serious ones out of the way and try to stop the bleeding on the most serious ones.
And does that also help with once you take them to the hospital?
Yes, absolutely.
And how does that help when you take them to the hospital?
Just pretty much giving a report to the staff at the hospital and letting them know exactly what we got so they can have an advantage in helping them as well.
Sure. Trying to have as much information to provide to the ER once he arrives.
Absolutely.
Now, during your transfer, were you ever able to restore any sign of life, any vitals, pulse, oxygen, anything like that?
No, sir.
Did he show any sign of life once you arrived on scene to the time that you dropped him off at the hospital?
No, sir.
And just, I'm assuming it's been marked as States Exhibit 54. Methodist, was that the hospital that y'all ended up taking him to?
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
So States Exhibit 54 is just a notice of business, notice of intent to use business records. States Exhibit 55, which are the Methodist medical records for Melvin Noble. We'd offer States Exhibit 54 for record purposes only, Your Honor, and States Exhibit 55, Melvin Noble's hospital records for all purposes.
No objection to 55, and then 54.
All right, States Exhibit 54 is admitted for record purposes only. States Exhibit 55 is admitted for all purposes.
Now, once you transport him to the hospital, thank you, Your Honor, permission to publish all of these to the jury?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Of course, the jury will have the opportunity to go back and look at all of this when they go back to deliberate. But once you arrive to the hospital, explain if you can just that transition of being in the back of an ambulance to somebody who's not showing signs of life and now getting them to the ER. Just briefly explain that if you don't mind.
So usually when we go to the hospital with the trauma CPR like this, we usually have 3 members in the back of the ambulance and 1 person driving us. Maybe at this time it was 4. But we're performing CPR and chest compressions the whole way over there. Our goal is not to stop. So as we're bringing him off the ambulance in the stretcher, we're still performing CPR, go in the hospital doors. Nurse pretty much tells us which room they want him in, still performing CPR. We transfer care. Doctor walks in or head nurse walks in. We give them our report, pretty much tell them gunshot here, gunshot wound here as well. We have no pulls. We've never received pulls, or we have, and then just transfer care from there.
As far as your role in this case, was that the extent of what you did in this case?
Yes, sir.
This location is in Dallas County, in the state of Texas.
Yes, sir.
I'll pass the witness.
Sir, how should I refer to you? Sergeant or lieutenant?
No, just fire rescue officer
Okay, fire.
or paramedic.
Okay, so you were on the ambulance that arrived, is that right?
Correct.
And you indicated that your engine or the fire truck had already gotten there, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that you guys came after the fire truck?
Yes.
Okay, and when you arrived, there were 2 people in your ambulance?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you got there, it had taken you a while to get there, is that right?
Correct.
You said there was a private agency ambulance, is that correct?
Yes, private ambulance.
A private ambulance. And so how do private ambulances get on scene?
I think they were just on the road at that time, and
And I'm so sorry to interrupt you, I don't want to interrupt you.
I'm
but I
sorry.
want to make sure I can, make sure that I'm being clear with my questions.
yes, ma'am.
So do you know how a private ambulance was performing any function before you arrived? You know how or why they were there?
I don't know that they were actually performing any function. I know that they brought down their equipment.
And so you don't, and I'm going to ask you this question, so you don't know whether or not they were doing anything?
No, ma'am, I don't.
You just notated that they were there
Yes, with their equipment on the ground.
with their equipment on the ground. You also said that you did not see the person that's in this picture do anything. Is that correct?
I didn't see this picture or the events in this picture.
Did you see this person in the blues down on the ground? Did you see him do anything when you were there?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I
so
don't
you didn't-
remember seeing
did
this
you-
person.
You've never seen him before?
I don't remember seeing that person
Okay,
at
so
that
once
time.
you got there, this person wasn't there?
Not that I saw.
Okay. And all of the things that you did, once you got on scene are part of your protocol, is that right?
Correct.
That's in any situation that you would arrive at, that maybe there were, somebody was shot?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know you said you don't know how many times the person was shot, is that correct?
I don't recall how many gunshot wounds they had.
And do you recall when you went into the scene, was it chaotic?
I would say it was chaotic because we were on the highway and people had to block traffic, and there was a lot of people out of their cars, which is not normal on traffic calls.
Sure. Were there a lot of people in the scene?
Yes,
Were there a lot of?
more than usual.
Okay. And I'm so sorry. I don't want to talk over you, but I don't want you to talk over me.
Oh, I'm
either,
sorry.
Okay. And the only reason is because this young lady has to take down everything that we're saying.
Absolutely.
Okay? Were there a lot of people walking through the scene?
Not when I got there. Our crew that was initially there had as well. I mean, nobody was around us at that time. So from the point that I got there was nobody walking around where the patient was and we were.
Okay, so you don't know what was going on before you arrived, right?
Correct.
Was there law enforcement there?
I'm not sure if there was law enforcement there yet or not. I don't remember that part.
Were there law enforcement on the scene when you arrived?
I don't remember that.
So you, and I don't, the question is, was there law enforcement? And I think your answer was you don't remember.
Correct.
Okay, so you don't remember whether or not the scene had been secured by law enforcement?
Right.
You don't remember whether or not it had been blocked off by law
It
enforcement?
had not been blocked off with tape or anything by law enforcement when we got there.
And there were people that, at least prior to you getting there, were driving through the scene?
I mean, the traffic was blocked completely. So
Okay,
there was no driving, no cars going by us when we were there.
as you were trying to get him on the stretcher, is that
Correct.
right? When you left, had the police arrived yet?
I don't know. I was in the back of the ambulance, unable to look outside.
Okay, so you don't know whether or not even at that point the scene had been secured.
Right,
You don't know whether or not any of the evidence had been collected.
right,
You don't know whether or not anything had been preserved.
right.
Do you know anything about how this person came to be shot?
No.
Do you know anything about who this person was?
Oh, no, not at the time.
Did you have any information about the car that this person was in?
No, ma'am.
Do you know anything about another car?
No,
Do you know anything about a third car?
no, ma'am.
Do you know anything about multiple people?
No.
So you don't know anything about anything? Other
Yeah, that's argumentative.
Same.
may I rephrase? You don't know anything about what occurred.
You talking about now or at the time?
I'm talking about at the time only.
At the time, no. Obviously, we knew it was a victim that had gunshot wounds, and that's what we were tending to.
Okay, and I want to make sure that this is clear. Everything that you testified to today, is that from what you know back then, or are you testifying about things that you've learned since?
Things that I saw with my own eyes when I showed up on the scene.
So you're testifying about things that you knew back then,
Yes, ma'am.
not things that you've learned since?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and then have you met with the prosecutors in this case?
I have
How many times?
once.
And when was that?
Sometime this year, maybe a couple months ago, 2 months
Okay.
ago.
And did they tell you anything about the allegations here today?
Can you explain allegations? What do you mean by the allegations?
Did they tell you anything about the fact there was a trial going on?
Oh, yes.
Somebody's accused of something?
Yes.
Okay, what did they tell you about it?
There's a shooting going on, and there was
Did
a
they
trial
give you
going on
any-
murder.
Okay, sorry. Did they give you any details about who anybody was involved?
No, ma'am.
I'll pass the witness at this time.
See,
Nothing further from the state.
all right, they just want this to release?
No objections.
Defense?
No objection.
All right, thank you, sir, you pleaded.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 12:32 now. Let's take a 1 hour lunch break and be back at 1:32. Remember, you are still under my instructions. Do not discuss your testimony with anybody. Do not talk to anybody else or each other about what you heard so far, because you haven't heard all the answers. So you should not begin to deliberate, okay? All right. Thank you.
All right.
Y'all can sit down.
Do we have any?
I just double checked, Your Honor. I don't see. You let me know if you're missing anything.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Want to make everybody's life easier if I can.
Why don't we just, do you want to go to there?
All right, thank you, gentlemen. And, you all back at the call. I'm sorry, 1:30.
I can give you my card, or I can give you.
So,
I think it was 3 or 4. No, it's 4. 4.
Long ass.
Yeah, 4.
It's gonna be a long ass 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Is this open? Is the transfer room, is that open before we?
It should be unlocked. Oh, I want to know. Should be allowed. Yeah, it's fine. Surprising statement, but everybody getting up for the jury already. He said, what? Surprising statement, people beating up for the jury already. Yeah. That's why she's in the meeting. Well, we can't control it. It ain't bothering me. I really don't care. I don't care. And they really just rushing out so they can get to their phone. Yeah. It ain't nothing but the phone. It ain't nothing but the phone. We get trust. Yeah. Well, I got that.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is Base 44. This is a first look at the current industry-leading AI app builder, and you wouldn't believe the kind of apps that people are creating. Smart nutrition apps, inventory trackers, onboarding tools, you name it. And if the only thing stopping me from making the app is the idea, then why not build an app that gives me endless app ideas? So let's make it. Pro tip, I draft the full app spec in ChatGPT, and then I drop the prompt directly into Base 44. It gives me super detailed structure. And here it is, everything I laid out in detail as it goes. This is pretty awesome, but I want to make it playful. So I'm going to add a swipe left and swipe right interface. The same usability we all know. Now I'm going to add one more feature. So every idea that I favorite will turn into a kickoff prompt to start building the app itself. And that's it. Just come up with your idea, any idea, and Base 44 will do the rest. So go to Base 44 and create apps with your name on it.
I wanted the word cuppa, as in cup of tea, I thought would be great to mix with hug. When I saw the domain was available, I was like, I'm taking it, I'm trademarking it, I'm going with it. Hi, I'm Aaron, I'm the owner of Cuppa Pug. We are not a traditional cafe. When I saw Cuppa Pug go live, that's when it all clicked. Well, was that nice?
We want to welcome in our viewers on YouTube or Fox Local, wherever you may be watching this. You have been, chances are, following the trial, the murder trial for Kewan White. He's accused of the 2020 murder of Melvin Noble, who went by the rap name MO3, a Dallas rapper. And then all tied into this is the prosecution saying that another Dallas rapper, YELLABEEZY, whose legal name is Marquise Conway, allegedly paid Kewan White to roll out the murder. So the trial started today officially. We had 2 days of jury selection. Some people wondering what that might have meant. Was a deal going to be made? And it wasn't, at least not right now. And so the trial started today. We had opening statements from the prosecution and defense. Some legal experts will say opening statements goes a long way when it comes to the impressions that a jury has. I want you to take a listen at a snippet of those opening remarks.
There was a hitman on the highway. And that hitman, there was a hitman on the highway. And that hitman was the defendant, Kewan White.
And all the evidence that the state has is mere speculation, assumptions, and flawed conclusions for murder.
So that was a little snippet of that. I want to bring in Eric Deep, hip hop journalist. You've been following the hip hop scene for about 10 years now. This case goes back to, at the heart of it, a feud between two rappers, according to the prosecution, Melvin Noble and Marquise Conway, or MO3 and YELLABEEZY. When did this start to pop up on your radar that there was something going on between these two Dallas artists?
Yeah, for sure. I think I kind of want to paint the picture of Mo3 and YELLABEEZY. At the time, YELLABEEZY, I would say he was the bigger artist. He had Billboard charting hits. That's On Me, and
everybody know that one, right? That's the one I knew.
That's On Me, baby.
Yeah.
But then Back at It Again was another hit that he had. Mo3, I wrote an article that I called him the Boosie of North Dallas. And what I mean by that is like he's someone who was very respected on the underground level as far as like his mixtapes and his songs. Although they weren't charting, a lot of local rap fans, as we talked off camera, they knew his name and things of that nature. But yeah, I think it started around 2017 to 2019, leading up to 2020. There was a lot of like back and forth as far as like songs and like Instagram lives and things like that.
There's a lot of back and forth on both sides between both people.
Yeah.
And I know you'll probably get into this, but talking about if that persona still committed a crime or if this is just made up life. But talk about how, I mean, it started to get violent. It went from just words to different shooting incidents.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately that is the case when things escalate offline, from an online feud to offline. Yeah, I think it really started around 2018, right? I think it's Mo3's friend, Roy Lee. He was someone that I guess it started with him, and then it kind of like escalated after that. I don't know if you're familiar with Roy Lee.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This case has made me familiar with a lot of names that I might not have known. And so you're seeing this, and a big part that was shown today is the video that you're seeing on the screen right now of this happened to be caught on camera. It was a Kroger delivery truck that happened to have a dash camera. This shooting happened in November of 2020 on 35, not far from the zoo. And today, 2 witnesses were put on the stand who were in these nearby cars, saying they saw a man get out. One woman said she saw White allegedly putting on the ski mask, pointed the rifle at her, and allegedly said, "B, get the F out of here."
Right.
And then another woman taking a stand saying that, she heard the shots, went to the floor, and then got out and take pictures for her personal evidence, thinking her car may have been hit or something,
right,
and had pictures of Melvin Noble on the ground. when you saw this video, I mean, you've been watching this all morning too.
Yeah.
What did you make of the testimony by, I mean, the first person, Melvin Noble's mom spoke. You know, you can't predict how someone acts on the stand, but I was shocked that there wasn't as much emotion. I don't know if certain questions weren't asked to provoke that, but
Yeah.
what did you make of just the morning of this case so far?
I think it was very emotional. I was watching on the live stream on YouTube, so I saw a lot of the chat, and
Yeah.
the chat was
Chat
very,
was all over the place.
yeah, it was very lively.
Yeah.
And they were dropping gorilla emojis. The gorilla emoji is associated with Mo3. It's sort of like his thing.
Okay.
And so, yeah, the chat was very emotional. I think the testimonies on live, I think they were, I don't know, it felt, and I just feel for his mom, you know, to have to like relive it, and kind of, I was shocked personally seeing the photo of Mo3 on the ground, you know, like that's new to a lot of people. I don't think that photo has ever been out yet.
Right.
So,
And I mean, there's so much. And, you know, people, and we've been talking about this for 3 days now, when, you know, everyone, and I'm the biggest Law and Order fan, but I also get the privilege and responsibility to have to sit in court sometimes and look at these cases. So
yeah,
there's a big difference between the TV'd up version of Law and Order and
Right.
what actually happens in the courtroom. And now people that are interested in this case are some seeing it for the first time. Of, you know, one of my frat brothers asked me, he was like, "Why are y'all recording through the door?" Like, I mean, even questions like that of, you know, a judge gets to make the rules. And in Collin
Yeah.
County, we just had a major trial where we couldn't have a camera in the courtroom.
Right.
Dallas County is kind of an agreement where, okay, not to be busy in the courtroom, you can shoot video through the window of the door.
Yeah.
And so, like, people are seeing this, right? And then you're seeing the evidence posted. We heard the 911 call for the first time.
Yeah.
You saw images from a witness of a body on the ground. Like, those things now, the jury is seeing all this for the first time, of course, but
Yeah.
the public is seeing it first time too.
Yeah, I mean, it is emotional if you're a fan of Mo3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it hurts obviously to see to relive it, to see it. Yeah, I really just feel for his mom to be able to have to like sit there and have to like answer the prosecution and the defense about her son's death is.
And Bree West, who's the defense attorney for Kiwan White, I mean, she has to do her job of trying to muddy the waters, right? For, you know, to represent her client. And she kept asking Melvin Noble's mother, you know, like, Noble's mother talked about how when he was at home, he was Bubba. He was not Mo3. And so Bree West was trying to harp on that point, saying, well, yeah, so he has a persona. And that persona, you didn't know about that life. And so it's a lot of things. But let's talk about lyrics, since this is your wheelhouse. We haven't gotten to this point yet, but lyrics are going to be key.
Yeah,
a
they
key
will be.
part of this, especially because, and some said the judge split the baby. We had a lot of hearings about lyrics. And then in the end, she said, okay, we'll allow some songs, not all songs. We'll allow a song with Trap Boy Freddy, but you can't play Trap Boy Freddy's voice. We'll allow a song talking about the beef, but not about the bounty. Break down some of these songs that you know of that stood out to you, and are you shocked of which songs were entered and which songs weren't?
Yeah, I think I'm actually shocked that they were trying to add Trap Boy Freddy songs, and I don't know why. Like I don't think they're relevant to this particular beef at all. But the songs that are omitted, I feel like you know, one of them is 219, and that was released in February 2019.
Right.
So it's off his album Osama, Mo3's album. And then in February 2020, Keep It in the Streets, that was YELLABEEZY's song. And then YELLABEEZY On Your Head with Trap Boy Freddy, that was released in May 2020.
But what was it? The song Hit is not included, right? And that one talked about, is that the one that talked about putting a bounty?
Well, I'll say it's sort of a generalized term, Hittas, you know? And I think Lil Wayne also has a song called Hitta on Carter on the Carter 5. But yeah, that song was not omitted for whatever reason. I think maybe it's because the song features NLE Choppa. So maybe it's not relevant to the case. But yeah, I say all the dates because I'm trying to like establish the timeline of these songs. And I think
and that it showed that there was a progression of
yes,
things, right? It wasn't
basic,
just
yes,
it wasn't just one argument in 2020 and then you have a shooting on
yeah,
35. And the prosecution and defense have said, I mean, this goes back to, I think you said, what, 2017?
yeah, and I guess I was trying to I guess point the Mo3's comedian friend Roy Lee. He drops the song 219 on his birthday, and that a lot of people saw that as sort of like a retaliation record. But like, so shout out to Central Track. It's a blog that used to cover a lot of local music here. They wrote about that song 219 in around the time it dropped, and they wrote about all the beef and what happened and all that stuff. And like, it was just interesting to me that he made this song, and like you listen to it, and it doesn't mention YELLABEEZY's name at all, but like it's sort of like a subliminal, it's like you can make an interpretation that he's addressing things that happened. Like he mentions the tollway shooting in 2018 that Beezy was involved in. So yeah, and then the fact that he dropped it on his friend's birthday, who his friend passed due to this sort of street beef that Beezy had with Mo3. I don't know. It's just all like very interesting to me that these things are kind of lining up, but like to the average casual listener, I don't think they'll catch
Right,
it.
they're connecting the dots. Or, I know people who are from Dallas, and so they know more about this than I'm from Atlanta. I've lived here 7 years, but I was definitely not knowledgeable about both parties involved. I knew more about YELLABEEZY than Mo3, like you said. And we talked at noon, and you made a good point about it's something that the defense is hoping the jury believes about personas, right?
Right, yeah.
Kind of talk about just in the rap industry, every rapper is not from the streets, or they still don't live in the streets. I mean, some rappers rap about these things and they live in Allen, or not to call anybody out, I'm just saying a city, right?
Shout out to Allen.
So talk about, you mentioned Rick Ross as an example. Talk about that again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess the point I was making is, hip hop artists and rappers, they have personas. So it's like, I use the example of Rick Ross in that, like, he is someone who has made his career off of like luxury rap. He like created this whole persona around luxury rap and opulence. And I think with hip hop artists, a lot of the times they're drawing from like authentic stories that they've lived and they've went through. And a lot of times they sort of like create this storyline or like this like narrative around the world that they're trying to build with their music. And it can't think of an example where that is. It's probably the most recent one is like Montana 700. He's a new Dallas rapper, and he created this whole persona. Like people call him kind of like the Dallas Jeezy in a way. And so like he's created this whole persona on like trapping and like being a street rapper, but he doesn't do that anymore, like at all. He's more about giving back to the community and trying to build.
I mean, like Jay-Z is one of my favorite rappers.
Yeah,
he built his career right at the beginning off of him talking about selling drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
And then as his money increased, his lifestyle changed.
Yeah,
and he talks about other things. And we bring that up because, I mean, you have a jury that's sitting here going to be listening to all this testimony, right?
Yeah.
And then they are the only ones that matter in this case, that will have to decide if one, do you think that, this person was hired first? That's a whole separate argument. But then two, how much they believe that these rap lyrics come into play. Now, the rap lyrics are way more important in the Marquise Conway case trial, whenever that happens, if that happens, than this one. I mean, this one, you have the alleged shooter. You have video of the shooting in broad daylight on 35.
Yeah.
You just heard witness testimony, and the first witness saying, "I don't want to be here." She was compelled to testify. I mean, and then testimony is hard to do. I mean, you have someone accusing someone else of committing a murder, and you're facing the person, and this is streamed, and everyone has their own opinions, and so it's a big deal. And now that it's really happening, to reset, if you just joined us, we are in the lunch break right now for the Keywan White trial. The trial finally started today. Jury selection was Monday. On Monday, YELLABEEZY and his attorneys had to be in the courtroom too, just in case something happened with this case. Some speculated that there may have been a plea deal with Keywan White, the alleged gunman who killed MO3 Melvin Noble in November of 2020 on 35 in Dallas. And so this now finally 6 years later in trial, Keywan White sitting in the courtroom. He's not in jail attire, which I know, a defendant, you're innocent until proven guilty. So he's in street clothes right now.
He's in a turtleneck.
He's in a turtleneck
Yeah.
in I was about to say in July, in August,
Yeah.
in Dallas. But that might be for a certain reason.
Right.
What have you taken away from today so far?
I think
Now three witnesses in.
Yeah, I think they both are presenting arguments that like could sway either way, right? But I think the thing that sort of caught me off guard was when the defense was like, "Oh, actually, Mo3 instigated the beef through a song called Pick Six because he wasn't on the song Six Pick." Six Pick, and I don't know, that kind of threw me off because that's new information that I haven't heard of.
Do you think they're trying to, let me use my wording right, like plant a seed in the jury's head and then bring it back up? Like,
yeah, maybe. I mean, I think they're definitely doing their Googles and seeing like people covering, Mo3 ranting about not being on the song or whatever. But like that song is, I don't know, it mostly features like Fort Worth rappers, and it was released in 2017 of November. So like, yeah, it just kind of threw me off. Like, why are they mentioning
of them saying that was the origin?
Yeah, that was actually the origin of the beef, not this other like online tension and street
You mentioned bloggers. That has been a big topic this week.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
and to those who may not know, I love technology and I love the advancements that we have, but also it sort of hurts like other journalists. And I'll give y'all a peek into what I'm talking about. During jury selection, y'all didn't see any live streams because we cannot show jury selection really. I mean, because you don't want to run the risk of making a mistake and showing someone who may be a possible juror. And so we didn't have a camera in the courtroom, but there were multiple incidents this week with bloggers recording people in the hall or recording people in the courtroom, yada, yada, yada. And the judge kicking them out of the courtroom, but allowing them to still be in there. What do you make of, it's a difference between someone covering this from a professional organization and someone just having a phone and thinking that they know how to cover a trial. Do you have any friends who are in there? You ain't got to call anybody out, but I'm saying, like, do you think that, what do you make of that part of this week? Because it consumed Monday and Tuesday mentioning bloggers in the courtroom.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all kind of stems from how deep I can go into this, but like Academics is probably the most known hip hop personality and blogger out there. He kind of recently got into a tiff with Rob Markman, and they were talking about journalists versus bloggers, and he tweeted something about like, "Hey, I'm going to call you paraphrasing here, but I'll call you a journalist if you cover the Keefe D trial, the Lil Durk trial, and the YELLABEEZY trial." So I think that might have inspired bloggers to try and just like
to come to the court.
Yeah, to like prove him right. Like, yeah, we'll show you journalists that we can do this, and ended up being that people who do this professionally, they understand the etiquette, they understand that you can't record jurors, you can't like run up to them, potential jurors, all that stuff you can't do, and the result of it was that they got banned. However, there is one blogger that is still there. I don't know if they are still there. They go by Dallas Global TV. I don't know if you ever heard of this account, but
Are they in the courtroom or are they in the hall?
I am not sure. I think maybe in the hall, but
I don't think. Well,
I'm not sure.
I would say I don't think the judge could kick someone out of the hall, but I'm not going to wade into that. I just know that has been a big part of this, like especially us waiting for this trial to start. The fact that we had to say bloggers were kicked out of the courtroom multiple times is something interesting. If you're just joining us, the jury and everyone's supposed to come back in about 10 minutes or so. They broke for lunch at about 12:33 instead of an hour lunch. I have never been on a jury, so I don't know what type of lunch they had. But hopefully
sandwiches.
They were asking a lot of questions yesterday during the voir dire process. One of the jurors asked, "Can you bring his own lunch? You might want your own lunch." But again, to reset things, Eric Deep is joining us, hip hop journalist. You've done some work with Double XL, Dallas Observer, just to name a few. Um, how has and I know there were like in the wake of all this, like interviews on different rap stations and stuff.
Yeah.
How has are things just now coming back up as far as people talking about this constantly, or have people been talking about this well before we knew of a trial starting this week, like in the hip hop community? Or
Yeah.
circles?
Are you speaking of like, are people talking about MO3 and YELLABEEZY
Yeah.
before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, did it die down after 2020 and then only pop back up because now we're getting closer to a trial?
Yeah, I would say I think after 2020, it became one of those cases where like, it almost felt like an unsolved case, like Biggie and Pac, right? And like, but what was really beautiful about that time period between 2020 and now was that there was a lot of tributes to Mo3. Like, I think I went to like a bunch of like different rap shows, and they would just, stop to do outside better days for Mo3, and do the hashtag Long Live 3. But then now I think after the indictment came out, I think that's when people started like
getting really interested.
Yeah,
in it,
yeah.
right? And then also learning more information. I mean, things that weren't revealed back in 2020, or I forgot when. I remember seeing this video for the first time, but I forgot exactly when we got it. But saying, "Oh man," because I mean, you think about a crime, regardless of what side you pick. You think about crime, and it's like a perfect storm of having the video. Like, the prosecution wouldn't have as strong evidence if they didn't have this video from this Kroger delivery truck that happened to have a dash camera.
Right.
You would just be going off of that eyewitness testimony, that the two witnesses that we heard today, who were that car on the top left is one of the witnesses that was in a BMW, who said that when Keywan White allegedly got out of the car, she says that he was putting on his mask and told her to get out the way. And then she heard gunshots and called 911. And then another witness said that she was right next to the car where the shooting happened, and she could hear, all the gunshots, and said she wouldn't get up until she heard them stop.
And she also didn't. They were trying to get to a number of gunshots, and she couldn't recall how many gunshots.
And granted, and let me be real and transparent. Like, in a moment like that, I probably would not be able to count how many gunshots. But I am shocked that, usually we go to stories that someone to say, "Oh, I heard 5 gunshots," or "I heard sound like 10 gunshots." It was interesting that they were trying to drill down how many gunshots did you hear.
Yeah, and going off of what you're saying, like everyone said they were nervous when they went up there.
I mean, how many times do you drive on the interstate? And I mean, we're in Texas, so people have road rage.
Right.
But how many times do you drive on the interstate and then traffic is stopped because a shooting and the person's running? It wasn't just shots fired at a car; it was someone running. And so the defense has a tall task, right, of trying to convince this jury that, one, it wasn't their client. This individual was wearing a ski mask, so their face was partially covered.
Obscured, yeah.
And Bree West and her team asking those during cross-examination, talking about, well, did you see the person's face? Do you know this person? Excuse me. But I mean, that's the image right there that you see. You see a guy with a weapon and a ski mask. I mean, that's as descriptive as you can try to get. And then so that was why that witness was very important, of her saying, "Well, I saw part of his face."
Yeah.
And she isn't fully excused, so she could be called back. I know the paramedic, the guy with Dallas Fire and Rescue, he testified and just giving general information. And so it'd be interesting to see who the prosecution calls next. The biggest person is Detective Barnes. He is the lead investigator on this, and he's been entrenched in the Dallas community. He knows the rap scene. He knows about these different beefs. And last week, a judge ruling that he can't be an expert on rap music. A college professor will be able to be an expert on this.
Oh, interesting.
How important do you think Detective Barnes will be in this case?
Pretty important. I mean, I think, I can't remember who wrote an article about his sort of a detective work and like breaking down like how the beef started and where it is now. But like I would say he's very important in the case.
Yeah, Detective Barnes. I know he's at the courtroom. I've seen reports that he's at the courtroom because I know right now the prosecution is trying to set the table, right?
Yeah.
So they start with Melvin Noble's mom. You know, she gives the personal side of who she knows is her son, and the defense says, "Yeah, but you didn't know his whole life, right?" And so that's that part. And then now we heard the eyewitnesses, if you will, those that were on the interstate
Yeah.
and said, "I saw this guy get out. I heard the gunshots. I saw the body on the ground." And so now I'm wondering, now after lunch, after the jury has all this set up, they've seen the video of the shooting. Now, like, how are they really going to start tying Kewan White to this? I mean, and one thing that was interesting, and tell me if I missed it, but I was watching the whole thing.
Yeah.
I didn't hear once them ask the eyewitness, well, especially the first witness, um, is the man that you saw on the highway the person in the courtroom? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I didn't hear that either. I
And I
was
don't know if that's just Law and Order,
Yeah.
or, but like
Point to the person that's in the
if you
court.
saw the person,
Yeah.
or at least if the prosecution thinks you saw the person, you would say is the person in the courtroom. Now he
Yeah.
looks different
Right. Yeah.
from 6 years ago, but I'm wondering why they didn't ask that question.
I saw the chat like talk about how he was whispering into his attorney's ear about something.
So I talked to a defense attorney yesterday, not associated with this case, and we were talking about, especially during voir dire, like, okay, what are the conversations that a defendant is having with his lawyer as things are going on? Because he would talk to Bree West and write a note yesterday, and he said, well, as it relates to voir dire, the process of setting a jury, you know, he could have said, like this juror, do you agree? No telling what he may have been talking about today.
Right.
Or sometimes the defendant also is telling them, you need to ask this question because I wasn't wearing a green jacket or something. You know, only the defense attorney and their client knows what they know.
Yeah.
But it could have been a host of things of what he was talking about. It could have been, I got to use the bathroom. I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Forgot what my thought was. But yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're good. So we are waiting for the jury to come back from lunch break. They broke about an hour ago, and so we're waiting for them to come back at 12:30. And so that's the look in the courtroom. When they are back, of course, it'll look like what you were looking at for the first 2 hours. There is some movement in the courtroom. Somebody walked by, and so we're waiting for the jury to come back. They heard opening statements before 10 a.m. this morning from the prosecution and the defense. And then the first person that was on the stand was Nicole Noble, the mother of MO3, Melvin Noble, talking about her son, talking about that he was a father. He was young, but talking about him being the father of 3 young kids at the time of the murder, a 1-year-old, 2-year-old, and 3-year-old children.
Right.
And then we heard from 2 witnesses. The first witness outright told the defense she didn't want to be there, but she was a key witness and could be a key witness in this. You know, she said, "Oh, I saw this black car driving weird through traffic, then pulled over. I thought it was an accident." She said she asked the gunman. She thought he was going to help the person.
Right.
And then he allegedly pointed a gun at her and told her to leave. And so you see that video right there. I mean, this video, I think, is probably one of the biggest pieces of evidence outside of the prosecution eventually is going to have to prove or argue how he was allegedly paid for this.
Yeah.
That's a big part. Of course, right now, this is just day one. They're trying to set the scene, but they're going to have to explain. They're claiming he was paid to murder someone. They're going to have to show evidence of that.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're going to, if I'm going to give my opinion, I think they're going to have to rely on, you know, Beezy's track On Your Head, because that is, it doesn't.
It said 10,000. What did it say?
Can't remember. I can't recall.
We'll
if
look it up.
Yeah, if it says like
It said
an amount. Yeah, I think it was like 10K or something like that. But the whole On Your Head thing is like, yeah, I can put a bounty on you, and so like if they can try to connect that, then
and that's going to be key. Like they have to connect. Well, 2 separate things because we're only talking about the trial for the shooter, but it still goes back to this other charge that they have against YELLABEEZY, Marquise Conway.
Right.
They're saying that he hired Kewan White. And then, you know, okay, if you hired him, then show us how you know that he hired him. So,
yeah.
And they have a witness list of more than 250 people. I highly doubt they're going to call 250 people.
Yeah, they had terabytes of evidence.
The prosecutor said, I don't hope to call 250 people.
Yeah.
And then you have to think about the jury are humans too. Like some trials go a week, some trials go months. Like you gotta start, they have to read the body language of the jury too. This is day one, so not really, but in the days to come, because if you're putting up all these witnesses, then they're gonna forget some of the good stuff or the important things that you tried to lead with because you're muddying it with all these other expert witnesses. But
Yeah.
again, it's 1:30. They broke it like 12:33, so they could be coming back in soon. Jen, let's take a look in the courtroom again. I know it's just a seal, but just wanted to see if there's any movement. You see people walking around. And again, this is in Dallas County. This murder happened in 2020. Now, 6 years later, the person accused of killing Melvin Noble is on trial for murder. And only on Monday was YELLABEEZY, Marquise Conway, in the courtroom. But I think I was told that some of his family members may be in there this morning. I have to double check, but I know he's not in there. And I wouldn't expect him to be in there for this. He was only in court Monday because the judge said, you and your lawyer need to be here just in case something happened. Are you shocked? I've asked everyone this question. Are you shocked that White has not, as of right now, taken a deal? Or do you think he believes, I got a better shot at going through trial?
Yeah, I think he believes he has a better shot at going to trial.
Why do you think that?
The legal process, I think, and just the fact that this is mostly centered around YELLABEEZY and MO3, and he's sort of like
an important part, but I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's really like around them two, and so it's like he maybe feels like that if it goes through, like he might have a shot of,
And I mean, and I think whatever happens in this is definitely dramatically going to impact the YELLABEEZY trial, right?
Yeah.
Like if, let's just say, a jury finds White not guilty,
right?
Then I think that's going to dramatically impact how they approach the case with Conway. Because if a jury just found the alleged gunman not guilty, then they might think another jury might not understand the connection between the two men. And that's what we have not heard yet, any connection between the two men. Trap Boy Freddy's name has been said 3 times or 4 times.
Yeah, the beginning, right? The defense was like, oh, a third person, Trap Boy Freddy.
YELLABEEZY's name has been said a couple times.
Right.
But again, no connections yet.
Just sort of
just asking if you knew.
Yeah, and you were saying earlier about setting it up. And I think that's probably what's happening. If we're going to go into the afternoon, I don't think we're going to maybe have any can you name the person in the room thing yet?
Yeah, I was just in, and I'm gonna ask some of my legal people when we get off, because I just assumed that, especially for the first woman who said on the stand, I saw him put his mask on. Like, even if it was a objection or whatever, okay, is the person in here? And didn't hear that question.
Yeah.
So again, folks, this is day one of this trial. The prosecution expects this trial to go 2 weeks. Then I heard someone say a week and a half. I want you to take a listen at some of the opening statements again if you're just joining us.
If there is one thing that we can agree on, it's that no one likes to be used. No one likes to be misled. And the evidence that the state is going to present to you is going to have you, the jurors, making leaps of faith. But I submit to you that this is not a church, this is a courtroom, and the law demands evidence. You're going to see that the state's case is riddled with speculations, assumptions, and flawed conclusions. Now, in what I already talked to you a lot about, beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the state's verdict. They bought the indictment, they have to prove it. It's their capital murder case that is on trial. What are they going to be able to prove to you? It is not for you to use your imagination to help bridge the gap of your evidence. It is for you to demand that they bring you the evidence and close the gaps for you. Now you're going to hear, and I agree with the state, you're going to hear lots of things. But amassing information does not mean that the state has proven its case. You're going to hear about media, social media, associations, friendship, rivalry.
Your Honor,
Yes.
the next witness will be the medical examiner, and so I don't know how you handle that
I said,
as far as,
Say that again?
I don't know how you handle that as far as the lab.
So what you're looking at now, we're back live. The jury is back from lunch. And I just heard Tommy Adams, the prosecutor, tell the judge the next witness is the medical examiner. So then that's when you get into a lot of stuff that, a lot of words and stuff that normal people in juries probably aren't used to hearing. And so this part would be interesting. But we're going to leave you back in this trial. I'm going to wait till the judge says we're on the record. But right now, everyone's seated. You see Kewan White right there with the glasses talking to Free West co-counsel, and now the jury is being brought in right now. So keep watching. This is day one of the murder trial, the murder for hire trial for Kewan White and the death of rapper MO3, whose legal name was Melvin Noble, back in 2020. And we'll be back after court to recap this on Fox 4 starting at 4.
You all may be seated. All right, we're back on the record. The record will reflect that the defendant present the state is present, if you're present and seated. State calling next.
State calls Dr. Jeffrey Bernard.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all had some lunch. There you go. Would you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, you
Thank you. All right, good afternoon, doctor.
Afternoon.
How are you, sir?
Fine.
Would you mind introducing yourself to this jury and spelling your name for the court reporter, please?
Sure. Jeffrey Barnard, Barnard.
And doctor, how are you currently employed?
I'm retired from Dallas County, but I currently work on a part-time basis doing autopsies in California.
And you said retired from Dallas County. How long did you work with Dallas County?
Over 37 years.
Okay. I want to kind of just go back as it relates to your background, training experience. I know you testified probably hundreds of times in this courthouse.
Maybe more than that.
Yeah, I didn't want to say thousands, but you've testified quite a bit. So if you wouldn't mind just telling the jury a little bit about your training, background, and experience.
Yeah, I attended Texas A&M University and received a Bachelor of Science in Medicine degree. Attended Texas A&M College of Medicine and received my MD degree. I served a general surgery internship at Scott and White Hospital in Temple, Texas. I served a 4-year combined anatomic and clinical pathology residency at Scott and White Hospital. I served a 1-year fellowship in forensic pathology in Long Island at the Suffolk County Medical Examiner's Office. I'm board certified in anatomic pathology, clinical pathology, and forensic pathology. I was and still am a professor of pathology at UT Southwestern Medical School. I worked during my internship, residency, and fellowship on a part-time basis as an emergency room physician. I'm the current chairman of the Texas Forensic Science Commission appointed by the governor.
And have you testified in state court and civil court as an expert in pathology?
Yes.
Few or many times?
Many.
Your Honor, just want to ask the court, designate Dr. Bernard as an expert in pathology.
Any objection by the defense?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, court will designate Dr. Jeffrey Bernard as an expert in pathology.
Thank you. And so, Dr. Bernard, back in 2020, what was your official capacity with Dallas County at that time?
I was the director of the Southwestern Institute of Forensic Sciences and the chief medical examiner for Dallas County.
And what were some of your job responsibilities and duties as the chief medical examiner for the Dallas County, or I'm going to say SWIFT, as the chief medical examiner and as the head of SWIFT?
Well, it's two different things, but as the director of the Southwestern Institute of Forensic Sciences, I oversaw both the criminal investigation laboratory as well as the medical examiner's office. So in the criminal investigation area, the crime lab, so to speak, I was administratively oversaw that. So that dealt with the employees, budgets, that sort of thing. As the chief medical examiner, I oversaw the medical examiner's office, all the other medical examiners, and I did autopsies as well.
Now, Doctor, I kind of want to just hop right into this. Did you perform an autopsy in IFS-20-21-21399-ME?
Well, the ME is just means as medical examiner, so, but the number is correct. I did that autopsy.
And Your Honor, this time I'd offer State's Exhibit 960, which is a copy of Dr. Bernard's CD previously tendered to the defense counsel.
Did you say 960?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, Jenkins says 960, Your Honor.
This is at 960. Is it admitted? Is it
960?
960.
Yes.
Is it admitted for all purposes?
Thank you, Your Honor. And again, permission to move freely about the courtroom during testimony. Thank you. Now, Doctor, before we get into the actual report that you did in this case, can you tell the jury a little bit about what pathology is, what an autopsy is? Can you just kind of give them an overview of all this?
Yeah, so pathology itself is the study of disease. And forensic pathology is kind of a subspecialty of that, in which your job is to determine the cause and manner of death. And in so doing that, many times an autopsy is performed. And an autopsy is both an external and an internal examination of the body. And the external examination is that part of the exam which is performed prior to making incisions into the body. So that could be things as simple as color of the hair, color of the eyes. Those are all parts of the external examination. Also, if there are any injuries that are identifiable on the skin surface, those are documented. The internal examination is that part of the exam which is performed in which appropriate incisions are made into the body. The organs which reside within the body cavities are examined. Also during that, you're looking for any sort of injury, and the organs are removed and any sort of natural disease, if present, are documented. Organs are weighed, they're dissected, and then ultimately placed back in the body for burial. Also, during both the external and internal examination, fluids are removed for toxicology examination, that is, drug testing.
And can you briefly describe when you receive a body in a homicide case, or when a body comes to you that it's suspected a homicide may be involved, how does that work?
Well, homicide, all bodies are brought in, the body bags are tagged, so they're sealed up. But in cases where you suspect that there's a homicide, well, then an x-ray is performed before you open the body bag. That is, it's a scanning x-ray so that, you know, if there's a bullet that might be loose in the body bag, or as we've seen before, guns that are in the body bag placed for some unknown reason. And then you get an idea of whether there are any projectiles that need to be recovered or anything else that may be recoverable.
Now, in IFS 20-21399, you stated that you did perform an autopsy, and did you perform or create a report regarding that autopsy that you performed?
Yes.
Doctor, I'm showing you it's been marked as State's Exhibit 5. And I'm also going to give you 6. And 6 through 35.
All right.
I'm also handing you State's Exhibit 4, which is already in evidence.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's been a long 2 days to start. The board. Doctor, are you familiar with States Exhibit 4, 5, 6 through 35, I believe?
I am.
And what are States Exhibits? First of all, we'll start with 6, 5, and 6. What are States Exhibit 5 and 6?
States Exhibit 5 is a copy of the autopsy report I generated from the autopsy. 6 is actually part of the autopsy. It's the diagram where I listed out all the entrances, exits, gunshot wounds. And in the back part of that is the cause of death sheet. 4 is an identification photograph. And the rest of the photos 7 through 35 are autopsy photographs that I took at the time I did the autopsy.
Okay. And when you do an autopsy and you take photos, how many photos do you think you take, especially on an autopsy like the one we have here?
I took a large number of photographs. This is part of the photographs. It's not all of them.
Would you say that's a small or a large portion of the photos from the autopsy?
Yeah, I tend to think less is more rather than introducing 50, 60 photographs. Trying to get representative photographs is what I think is more important. So this would be a small number relative to the total.
Sure. And in preparation for your testimony today, you and I have met.
Yes.
And that was the group that you felt was the best representation for this jury to understand your testimony.
Yes.
And also, I prepared a PowerPoint to use during the demonstration. Do you believe States Exhibits 5, 6, and 7 through 35 would help aid the jury in understanding your testimony today?
Yes, I do.
State would offer States Exhibits 5 through 35 for all purposes, as well as States Exhibit 36, which is just PowerPoint for the presentation.
Which exhibit is the PowerPoint? Count?
36 is the PowerPoint.
We have no objections to States Exhibit number 5, States Exhibit number 6. We do object to States Exhibit 7 through 28 as being overly prejudicial.
Let me see it. Exhibit 7 through 29.
And,
Let me see the remainder of the list. All right, what's the state's response?
Your Honor.
State 7 through 28.
Yes, Your Honor, this is an extremely complicated autopsy that was performed. There's I believe there's exactly 13 wounds to the victim itself. And I can develop some more testimony with Dr. Bernard to explain the complexity of this and the reason for him needing all of these photos and why we pared it down extensively from the total amount. And the probative value substantially outweighs the prejudicial value when it comes to proving a capital murder.
Are there photos in 7 to 28 that are duplicates of each other?
They're not duplicative.
Okay. And
The only thing would be some are a further away, but then a closer up to actually see, and so the doctor can explain the nature of the wounds themselves. So it might be the same.
so the state's saying that these photographs will aid Dr. Bernard in describing how this individual was killed or
Yes, Your Honor.
suffered.
And I believe that was his testimony as well.
All right, defense objections are overruled.
Okay, and we have no objections to 29 to 35, Your Honor, and 36, the state has implicated, or has implied that 36 is their PowerPoint, and it's just a comprehensive version of the photographs and the medical report. As long as that is what is only on there, we're fine.
Okay.
It is, and it's been previously submitted to defense counsel. Just makes it easier to go through with the doctor.
The defense doesn't have any objections to that. So, case exhibits 5, 6, 7 through 35, and those 6 were admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Would y'all like to retreat, please?
Yes, Your Honor, I'll permit it.
Court has determined that the probative value of said exhibits outweigh the prejudicial effect.
Thank you, Your Honor. Permission to publish.
Issue made.
The state would also offer just for demonstrative purposes, its exhibit 6A, which is just a demonstrative, so Dr. Bernard can testify to the photos and where they're at. State 6 is in evidence.
So are we showing the one that's in evidence plus this one? I mean, I don't know how many he needs to be able to testify to.
This is the same thing that's already in, it's just for demonstrative, so he can show it or he can point to the location while the photos are on the screen.
6 has already been admitted.
Correct, this is just a demonstrative of State's Exhibit 6.
No objection.
All right, Doctor.
Exhibit 6A is admitted for demonstrative purposes.
Thank you.
Is the location okay for the defense?
No, Your Honor, that's why it's late.
Do you want to put it over there by the door? As before.
I was gonna have him step down, can y'all not see that?
Well, Mr. White has to be it.
I'm sure the jurors can see that, right? Okay. Can the defense see this diagram?
Yes.
All right, no procedure on.
Yes, you may.
Thank you. All right, now, Doctor, I want to start with State's Exhibit 5, and you have a copy of your autopsy report, is that correct?
I do.
I want to start with State's Exhibit 5, first page here. What do we see in State's Exhibit 5?
Well, on the first page is the upper portion is kind of the administrative aspect of it. That is the name of the individual, the case number, when the date and time of death, and then when the examination was performed, body weight, things like that. The middle box